But all week long, I'll explain. The Today Show on NBC has been following a woman as she undergoes plastic surgery. Today, they showed that plastic surgery on NBC.
Yeah, I would never be a doctor for that very reason. There are a lot of good people who can do that for us. Well, if you've ever considered plastic surgery, we definitely want you to stay tuned, because after the break, we're going to talk to a local surgeon who performs the same cutting-edge procedure that you will see profiled this week on the Today Show.
But if you are interested in this kind of facelift, there's actually a doctor who does it locally. We're going to go over to Trent now for more on that.
All right, Jess, thank you very much. Dr. Richard Maloney, in fact, does perform the very same surgery, or at least a portion of it that you saw on the Today Show this morning. Welcome. How are you?
Welcome.
Good.
Pleasure.
Now, you're based in Naples, and you do use the endoscopic surgery that people will see in part of the segments on the Today Show. If you will, run people through how that procedure works.
Well, we've been doing it since 1992, and what it actually applies is it takes small fiber optic instruments, and rather than making large open incisions on an individual's face, we can, through tiny small access openings, slide our fiber optics down into the facial structures and then reposition them, and then put them back into the position where they used to be when they were younger.
Wow. And you do have some before and after pictures. I'm going to go ahead and hold them up, and I don't know if you guys can get a shot of this or not, but if you can, that'd be great. Now, go ahead and by using the endoscopic surgery, talk about some of the benefits from that surgery when compared to in years past when obviously you were using other techniques.
We achieve a much more natural result, and we can eliminate the problems in the past where you'd see people with this windswept appearance where they looked somewhat stretched out or distorted. And so the whole concept is to reposition the structures where they were when they're younger, so it's a more youthful representation of yourself. It doesn't change your appearance except that you look like yourself years earlier when you're younger.
I understand you recently held a workshop. I'm going to hold up another one if you guys want to get a shot of that. And what were people saying? When people come to these workshops, obviously they come to find out more about plastic surgery. What are some of the concerns and things that people are worried about?
We had over 220 people the other day at our seminar, and number one interest is that people want to make sure that the procedures that they're having done, that they're going to be looking at for the rest of their lives, are going to represent them fully. And whether they're 30 years old or 50 years old or 60 years old, they want to make sure that the investment they make now is long-lasting and represents them well.
And obviously they want to look younger and better, but they don't want a drastic difference because then it's so much more noticeable. But I want to talk to you about cost. A lot of people say, you know, I'd love to have it done, and I know things vary depending on what you do, but what's a ballpark figure? Can you get into that?
Yeah, if you're talking about a facelift procedure, it's somewhere in the nature between $5,000 and $15,000. It depends on how much you're having done. And everybody,
the actual area of the face. Right.
And that's one beautiful thing about the endoscopic procedures, is we can custom design these procedures to each individual person's own needs. So where before with a more traditional procedure, everybody got the same operation.
Right.
Whether you're young, old, or whatever it is, we can design the procedures to meet your needs.
And I would imagine that self-esteem increases. I'm sure you see evidence of that all the time after these kind of procedures.
Well, it's like turning a light bulb on for many of these people because they have much more self-confidence in a lot of their interpersonal relationships, whether it be at work or social.
Great. Now, if someone would like to get more information from you, you are in Naples, Dr. Richard Maloney. What's a phone number they can call?
594-9100.
I put you on the spot. In fact, there it is on the screen if you forget. If you're like me, I often forget my name, and I have to whip out a business card to remember. But 594-9100. Dr. Richard Maloney,
thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a safe trip back to Naples. We
Pleasure.
appreciate you coming on the show. And, of course, people can find out more all this week on the Today Show. Katie, in fact, has more information related to this topic. Hey, Katie.